All right, let's turn this off and get this going. Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's event. Super excited to be here. Super excited to really talk about repairing the disconnect. I know as first responders, we lose that connection. We feel that the people around us just don't understand what we're going through. They don't understand because they've never been there. They've never walked in our shoes. And even people that are connected within the same situation, they don't understand and they never will. But I wanted to show you that there's there's a chance to repair that intimacy. There is a chance to repair that disconnect that we all put out there for ourselves. Now, when I talk about repairing emotional intimacy, I don't only mean this within the relationship within yourself. I also mean this with, your boss, your coworkers, and other people. And I'll really dive deep into that. But today I wanted to welcome you all to the call. Put in the comments where you're from. Let me know. And I'm excited to get started on this. So why are we here today? What is the big thing there? Oftentimes we feel that we need to fix everything. It's got to happen right now. But this isn't about fixing it. It's about really understanding that emotional wall that gets put up and why we put it up and the reasons that we do and how to overcome it and begin to push forward. And I'm super excited for this call. I'm super excited that we're doing this today. So let's get into it. So we're going to do 5 different segments today. They're not long, but I wanted to really kind of break this down to help people to understand. Okay, sorry, I've just been told that we have an echo in my speech and we are delayed. Let me see if I can just adjust that. Not sure if I can, but I want to see if I can. All right. Let me see if I can do that. I'm just going to adjust my mic here. One sec. Technical difficulties. All right. Hopefully that adjusted it a little bit better. And we are going to re-go. All right. So again, today we're going to go over 5 different segments. We're going to talk about the hidden costs of survival, understanding the wall. You're like, the wall, what's that? Basically the wall that we put up, bridging the gap, trying to understand what that gap is between where we are now and where we want to be. The language of safety. Oh, we all use that every single day. That language of safety. And then we're going to do some micro moments that matter. So let's just dive into this so that I'm not wasting your time and you get to impact the rest of your day. So number 1, the hidden cost of survival. So there's survival mode and then there's connection mode. Survival mode is your brain's response to the situation that goes on, that fight, flight, or freeze response. This is protection. It's not connection, right? This is that natural response. I always use the analogy of a deer. So if a deer takes off, it has a 90-second flight response because they don't really fight. They just run. So they have a 90-second flight response. So you see them take off. And then after about 90 seconds, if you can still see the deer, I'm currently living in Saskatchewan, Canada, so we can see the deer forever because it's the flattest place, I swear, on earth. And so when you see the deer and after about 90 seconds, it'll stop. It'll kind of look around and then it'll start to graze because its amygdala, its fight, flight, or freeze response is stopped. So it's like, okay, I'm good now. I'm just going to start grazing. But as first responders, as humans, for some reason, we reset that. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run. And then I'm going to look and you know what? I still feel a little fearful. I'm going to run some more. And we tend to go and go and go. And that's what puts us in this stress, in this OODA loop. And it really is what causes a lot of pressure within our body. And we have to learn to shut down. And that's through like meditation and journaling and getting things out of your head and onto paper helps with that fight, flight, or freeze response. But this is natural. I want to tell you that today, my friends, this is a natural response. So if you're, getting tensed up and you're having kind of like anxiety or you're overstressed for a second, these are natural responses because it's your body protecting you. But that is survival mode. Trauma teaches us that we need to disconnect because it's safety. It's safety. It protects us. It protects the people around us. How many people have used the words, I'm just staying away from you to protect you from me. right? We've all used that terminology, but that's the survival mode. You want to learn to connect again. You don't choose to shut down. We train ourselves to survive. We train ourselves to be like, look, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want me to overly hurt anymore. So I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to put myself in this survival mode. And that's where we need to learn to get out of, right? The emotional fallout, we disengage at home. At home is one of the biggest places that we do. We go home from work and my wife can attest to this. I used to go home and I used to be a video gamer. So I'd go home and I distract myself on video games. I just play for hours. I wouldn't connect with my kids, wouldn't connect with her. I just didn't care. And I disengaged at home, right? Even situations, I've sat at the dinner table. A perfect example below is you sit at the dinner table and my wife and kids are having a great conversation. They're laughing and I'm just eating my food. I'm zoned out. I'm disconnected because I'm stuck in that survival mode. Irritability, silence, and guilt. You snap over small things. Don't cry over spilled milk. As first responders, we're so built up on stress. We're so built up on situations that we do cry over spilled milk. We do make the mountain out of the molehill. Nothing really has impacted, right? First responders, we run into situations that potentially could harm us, kill us. Safety of other people is what we're doing. But then we get irritability at home because, our kids are fighting or they've spilled something. You're just like, oh, I can't stand this. You're like, really? Like, what's going on? It's because you have pressure built up inside that you haven't released from the day. And I love giving different ideas to release that so that when you come into home, you come back as a different person. Someone that your family's like, dad's home, mom's home, and it's an exciting time. And then that emotional presence, right? It's just as important as physical presence. We want to be there emotionally. Being home isn't just enough, right? They need the hugs. They need the smiles. They need that person that they lost. And that's where the connection becomes so important, right? It's not just being in the room, sitting there as a family, although that's a great thing. Sitting there with the people that you care about, sitting around as a group with friends. It's also important to engage. It's also important to talk, to really build that connection again. So that was segment 1. Super quick, right? Now we're going to understand the wall, right? What is emotional disconnection, right? It's not rejection, it's protection, right? Super simple. That's what we're doing. That's what our mind is doing. It's protecting ourselves. We're not rejecting others. We're protecting ourselves from that emotional feeling. We don't want to feel like that. Our bodies felt hurt before. Our bodies felt broken before, and we don't want to do that again. It's like when you injure yourself doing something, you're hesitant the next time you do it. I know I've coached people prior to dealing with first responders. I was coaching the general public, I'll say, it would be the best way to say it. And I had people that have been in car accidents and they had not wanting to get back into that car again. They're like, oh, I can't do it. Right? Because they had that fear that if they were going to get into that car again, they were going to get into a car accident. And that was protection. They were just protecting themselves. They weren't rejecting that situation. They were protecting themselves from what could happen in that situation. That's what we do in relationships, right? We felt broken through a connection. We're like, I don't want to feel like that anymore. So I'm not going to connect. Disconnection can be automatic and unconscious, right? It builds up over time, right? When we come home from work, we're like in work mode. And we're like, okay, I'm going to go and just do whatever, right? I don't want to talk to anybody. I've been dealing with stuff at work all day long. I don't want to come home and deal with stuff again. And then we disconnect ourselves, but we don't do it on purpose. We automatically do it because our minds and we're just protecting ourselves, because that's what number 1. If you ever see Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy, look it up. I don't have a slide for that, but what it is the number 1 thing is just self-preservation, right? You want to make sure that you have all the things that you need, and then you begin to build your life upon that. And that's where it's automatic. Number 1 thing, think about it. Think about this. The best example, another good example I can give you is when let's say someone is, and like you're in the water and you're basically drowning. What's the first thing you're trying to do? Right? You're trying to swim up as fast as you can to get air, because that is survival mode. And that's what your body is teaching you when it comes to connection with other people and disconnection, right? It's just protecting you. It's not planned. It's like, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel hurt anymore. So I'm going to separate myself. And that causes that emotional disconnection. Now, there's 4 disconnection styles that I'm going to bring up here. Withdraw, which we pull away emotionally and physically, creating that distance instead of dealing with that discomfort, right? And what the behavior is you shut down and you isolate yourself. We've all been there. I know, well, I'm not going to stereotype. Maybe we all haven't. I know I have. I've been very much withdrawing. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I literally would not get out of bed in the morning because I just withdraw. I didn't want to deal with it. So I had to learn different tactics to get over that. The reactor, right? Explodes or snaps quickly using intensity to shield vulnerability or feel. How many have done that, right? You lash out because you don't want to be put in a certain place, right? The anger and over defensive. Other one is you overfunction, right? You take tasks or emotions using action and control to avoid feeling powerless, right? I can do this. I'll deal with it. I can build this. I can create this. And this is what you begin to do just to distract yourself and avoid what it's feeling. And then the avoider, right? You keep your conversations light. You don't want to go deep into anything or logical, and you dodge emotional depth and discomfort, right? You stay surface level, right? I'm trying to go deeper within this because I want people to go deep within themselves. Because when you begin to go deep within yourselves, that's when you begin to release that pressure. You begin to release that tension, and you create that life that you're going after. So there's all of them: withdraw, reactor, avoider, and overfunctioner. Which one sounds like you, right? There's a workbook at the end that I'm going to give you, you'll have access to, and it's going to go deeper into these 4 situations, because if you know which one you are, then you begin to work on it and go, okay, I know I'm the avoider. I know I don't go deep into conversations. So what are some examples that I can do to begin to move into that place where I'm not avoiding these deep conversations? I can have them, because we're all often, as first responders, we're fearful about sounding weak. We're fearful of not being that strong, courageous self that we have to be within the job. And then we come home and we're like, no, I don't want to talk about it. And then, because I know this will make you think differently of me, or maybe at work and you're having a rough shift, and a coworker goes, hey man, what's going on? And you're like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. Right? We always say, yeah, I'm fine, when we really know that we're not. All right. Segment number 3, we're going to bridge that gap. So why connection feels risky, right? Emotional safety means being overwhelmed without fear. I want to say that again. Emotional safety means they're being vulnerable without fear, right? Emotional safety is the ability to open up, right? We don't care. I read a great quote today that was like, I think it was a Dr. Seuss quote, and it was, when you say something, it won't matter to those who don't matter, but it'll matter to those who matter, right? I think it was Dr. Seuss. And it's very true. I was like, you know what? That is so right. It's like, who you being may not matter to all the people around you in the world, but it matters to the people that matter to you. And that's what the importance is. But we're surrounded by so many people that don't matter that we forget that the people that do matter care. And we're like, oh, I can't open myself up to these people because, they might think about me differently, but they don't really matter. It's your inner circle that matters. And that's where you got to focus on, right? Emotional safety is the ability to open up, express what you're feeling, and be your full self without fearing rejection, judgment, and punishment. We have those friends. I have those friends out there that I can just be me. And then in certain situations, I be me, or I be me. That sounds funny. I'm who I think I am. And people are like, oh man, I don't like this guy. And sometimes I can go into a spiral and go, man, I'm losing that connection and I feel weird. And I can't tell them deeper things about me because they might judge me, but they don't matter, right? Trauma teaches us don't trust, don't share, and stay grounded. After trauma, our mind learns that connection equals risk, right? We've gone through something, we've been hurt, and we need to learn to overcome that. And you may begin to believe that trusting others leads to betrayal. A lot of trauma that we've done I know that there's things that have happened to some people as children, and that's the trauma that they live with in their life. So that's a huge betrayal. And sharing that, it invites that shame. What will people think about me? Right? I'm currently working within the prison system. I'm a correctional officer, and I know a lot of the inmates that are in there have trauma from childhood that have caused them to act out, and they don't share that because it has shame, and it invites that. They gotta show who they are in there. And that's why it's like, not to compare us to inmates, but we're all people, right? And we got to stay guarded is the only way to stay in control and survive. We got to guard ourselves. We can't put ourselves out there. So here's a connection loop that really creates this constant feeling. So first it begins with shame, right? You have that single thought, I'm broken, right? You turn inward, you focus on yourself. You paint everything with this picture, right? I'm broken. I can't do that. I'm broken. I can't tell them what I feel today because I'm broken. And this just constantly goes around. And then, maybe you work a little bit through that. And then you're like, because I'm broken, I can't see these people, and I'm going to isolate myself. You back away from the crew. You tell yourself that your silence is protecting them from your mess. I don't want to hurt them. I'm not going to see them anymore. You begin to lose friendships, you begin to lose that connection. Then you misinterpretation, right? With no outside people telling you that, you know what, you're going to be okay. You're going to push through this. We love you, right? You slowly, you morph into proof that, yeah, nobody likes me, right? Nobody cares about who I am because I'm all alone now. But that's through the isolation that you've caused, right? And you misinterpret that. Then you reject, right? Oh man, if I actually do tell people, maybe I'll put myself out there, right? No, you know what? They're going to slam the door in my face, right? They don't care about me. People call you, like I said, reading every missed call is confirmation you're not unwanted, right? Maybe I'll reach out. Oh, no, they're not answering my phone, or they're busy or working, right? But we think that we get rejection. And then finally, rejection, right? Rejection. Right? The loop seals shut because we reject ourselves from others, right? And then it starts again. We go into shame, right? And that's the way it kind of goes. And until we learn to break this connection loop, you're going to be stuck in it. So we have to find the way out. But I wanted to give you some examples of what safety actually looks like, right? You don't have to fix it. You just need to feel safe to express it. And oftentimes that's who we are. We're like, yep, got to fix it. I will stereotype males like this. And my wife can attest to this. She's like, starts telling me about an issue she's having. And I'm like, hey, well, you could try this. She's like, look, shut up. I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to listen, right? So you don't have to fix it. You just need to feel safe to express it. So here's some examples. A supervisor, right? I don't know if anybody on the calls today is a supervisor. You just check in to your members after a tough call. I had a situation last night at work that I got called in for, and I kind of wandered around. I'm not a supervisor. I'm an EAP representative. That's just a form of assistance after a traumatic event, if you don't know what EAP is. And I just kind of walked around and, how you doing? I'm okay, great. Okay, if you need to talk, I'm here, right? So supervisor who checks in on a call, right? That's the leadership creating space, not pressure. And that's what we need. We need that space to create an opportunity for us to talk, a safe space for us to let out how we're feeling. Number two is a teammate who doesn't judge you when you set a boundary. You know what? I'm not feeling it tonight. I'm not going to go. Simple boundaries, right? That's a peer support without shame, right? We don't want to feel upset for working through a process that we're working through, or else we're going to be stuck. And we want to find that process. A partner who listens without trying to fix it, right? That's validation over advice. And we want to validate the feelings of others. We want to validate those friends that we have that are going through this. You want to feel validated when you're talking to others. And you don't always need advice, right? You don't always need advice. A debrief where emotions aren't mocked. How many of you have been in a debrief? I know I have. After a major situation, And people are actually talking behind people's back in the room, right? Someone will make a comment and go, oh my gosh, why did they just say that? And there's no validation, right? We all go through trauma differently, but we can't look down upon someone that's having a rough time. We have to encourage, oh, really? You're going through, oh man, I didn't know that, right? You have to go through that, right? It's a culture shift, removing the stigma of mental health and helping those around you so that we don't lose any more of our brothers and sisters that take their lives too early. And a friend or family member who doesn't flinch at your story. That is very a difficult one, because that's more connection over discomfort, because people don't understand sometimes what we're going through. And they're like, oh, I didn't really want to hear that story. But then you find connection in the right people and they will hear your story. And that's where you begin to move forward and build. So segment 4 is the language of safety. Words that close and words that open, right? We shut down language. Like I said, I'm fine. It's nothing. I'm good. Don't worry about it, right? These are languages that close. They don't open up. And sometimes, my friends, you have to begin to open that language, right? I'm trying, but it's super hard. I'm not ready, but I want to talk, right? Opening these languages up to the people that we care about, to those people that matter, is when your life is going to shift. And my friends, I know you're on here because you're looking for that connection. You're on here because you're like, okay, what is Adam going to say? How am I going to be able to connect with those people that I need to connect with to move forward in my life? And it's putting yourself out there. It's not fixing it, right? Don't get me wrong. You're not trying to fix anything overnight. But you're going, look, I'm trying. And I can't do this because it's so hard right now. And doing that is going to allow you as yourself, even saying that to myself right now, to you, saying, look, I'm trying. It's hard, but I'm trying. Allows me to open myself up. So if you go to people that matter, that are there for you, and you say, look, I'm trying, but it's really hard, and they are there for you, that's when the connection builds, right? There's got to be tone, timing, and intent, right? The wrong message at the wrong moment, right? We've had people in our lives that are like, oh, let's dive deep into this. And it's like, whoa, I'm at work right now, or I'm in a situation like this isn't the right timing, right? And even the right words said defensively don't connect, right? Speak with sincerity, not perfection, right? And I want to go deeper into both of those. So even the right words said defensively don't connect. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I know as adults, we've heard that. It's not what you say, how you say it. You know, the tongue is one of the strongest, smallest weapons in the world. And it can either bring people up or it can break people down. And it all depends on how you use your tongue and how you're going to change a life or break a life, right? You can't speak truth, offer an apology, or try to explain yourself if your tone is guarded, right? You can't be defensive, fueled by self-protection. The other person won't feel seen or safe. And this is for both sides. As a person that's asking, hey, are you okay? And the person that's receiving, yeah, I'm fine, right? You have to lower that protection, right? You'll feel pushed away instead of pulling in, right? When we speak from a place of defense, it signals I'm more focused on protecting myself than I am connecting with you. I hear your pain, but I'm also building up a wall. I don't want to do this, right? And that connection is going to go, and you're going to begin to isolate. You're begin to be rejected, and you're going to misinterpret what's going on. Defensiveness might use the right words, right? But they can come wrapped in that tension, fear, resistance, right? And we just don't respond to that. We have to begin to let that go. So the tactical truth, connection happens when we drop the shield, right? Not when we perfect the script, right? Okay, if they say this, I'm going to say this, right? Most of the times, and this is a huge active listening thing that we've been taught, is we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. But when we're talking to someone, we're having a connection with someone, and I do this, I'm horrible at this, and I'm really working on this on a day-to-day basis. I'll talk with my wife. I'll talk with my kids and I'll be like, look, they'll be telling me something and I'll be like, okay, how am I going to respond to this? And then they'll say something. I'll be like, ooh, I missed that last point because I was already thinking ahead. We have to drop the script. We hate the pause, right? We hate the pause in a conversation. But if you can pause for 5 seconds, that was 5 seconds. Probably felt awkward to some, but that pause gives you an opportunity to go, okay, I've been listening. Now I kind of taken in what they've said and I want to respond. And that 5 seconds gives you that time to kind of respond and go, okay, yeah. And then people might lash out and be like, are you not listening? It's like, yeah, I'm listening. I just want to make sure that I respond correctly to what you've told me. And that shows respect, that shows connection, that shows love. Second one is to speak with sincerity, not perfection, right? Just went over that, right? You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to be real. Just have a conversation with me right now. If I were to say that, if we were to sit there and have a conversation and I paused and I was like, look, I'm not overthinking this. I'm not doing anything incorrectly, but how are you feeling? And I pause and I listen. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, how do I want to respond to that? It's like, I've had conversations with people where I've actually said, wow, I wouldn't know how to respond to that. I appreciate that what you're sharing to me. I don't know how to respond to that. That is incredible. And I see your strength for making it through what you've made it through. And that simple can lift up those people that are around you. If someone were to say that to you, wow, you've been through something absolutely incredible. But my friend, you've made it through that. And that strength shows how amazing you are and how much you've made it through. How does that make you feel? Yeah, I did make it through that. Yeah, I am moving forward in my life. Yeah, I feel great, right? These different words will lift you up or break you down. Like I said, the tongue is the most severe weapon in this world. Professionalism in communication often looks like overthinking every word before you speak, thinking about it, right? Avoiding hard conversations unless you know exactly what to say. I've been there. I'm not going to talk to this person unless I actually have the structure. Can't do that. Talking at someone instead of being with them, right? But sincerity, right? I might stumble, but I meant every word I said. This is hard to say, but it matters. And I have conversations on here, on my events, on some of my the teachings I do in my private Facebook group. Shameless plug there. But I say things because you need to hear it. I say them because I care. I may not know you, but I care about you, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. And you need to learn that you're much bigger than your past. You have the ability to move forward and thrive and live this life no matter what you've been through. And I see it in you. I may not see you, but I see it in you, right? And I care enough to show up, even if I get it wrong, right? The power of sincerity is what opens the door between that conversation, what opens the door to connect, to vulnerability, right? For me, I find that if you put yourself out there and be a little bit vulnerable, and this is for people that want to help other people, okay? If you put yourself out there a little bit vulnerable, they're willing to let their shield down. They're willing to lower that wall because they'll go, okay, they've been through it. They kind of know what I'm going through. I'll open up a little bit. And this begins that connection. It begins rebuilding that. The tactical truth here, people don't remember your perfect delivery. They remember your honest heart. And when you're speaking from an honest heart, you're speaking from love, that's going to build that connection. It's going to remove that isolation. It's going to remove that shame. And now segment number 5, micro moments that matter. The myths of big talks, right? We try to fix everything, right? It's not about fixing, right? In one conversation, things take time, right? Daily, tiny increments. Call up a friend, text a friend, right? Hey, how you doing today? Hey, I'm not doing too well, right? Little conversations, or I'm good today. Thank you, right? End of conversation. That would build into something great. Science of small connection, right? These are little things I just wanted to add that are proven scientifically, right? A 10-second hug, right? Just holding someone or being held builds oxytocin and it builds safety within your mind. Simple. Eye contact, just looking at someone in the eyes, all it does is regulate your nervous system, right? It builds that connection, and gratitude rewires emotional patterns. A lot of people say you want to be grateful every single day, and it's so true. If you write down 3 to 5 things every single day of what you're grateful for, it's going to rewire your emotional patterns, and it's going to make you feel better. It's like, yeah, I got a lot of things going on in my life, not the things in the past, but the things I'm moving forward to in the future. So here's some recommended rituals, right? The one good thing check-in every day. What's one good thing that happened to me today? One. That's it, right? The silent eye contact. Sit with someone for a few minutes and just look at them. Let them look at you. Have some coffee. Have a little conversation. And the no phone, coffee, or walk. Go for a walk with a loved one. We're so attached to our devices. Put it in your pocket, put it on silence, and just go for a walk. You don't even have to say anything. That's one of my favorite rituals to do with my wife. We used to do it all the time, and unfortunately, we've stopped. And it's something that I know I miss, and I'm sure she does too. We would just grab our cup of coffee in the morning, we go for our walk. No phone, and we just either talk or we wouldn't talk. Just be in each other's presence. And it's such an uplifting thing. And I suggest you, my friends, to try it. It's great. So here it is. So what comes next? Here's the workbook. I put a little QR code. Let me know in the comments if it doesn't work, and we will get that to you right away. 7 days to emotional repair after trauma, right? We're learning to connect. We're learning to reconnect with those who are within us. Oh, sorry, I'll leave that up there for a little bit longer. I'm going to minimize this for me to see if we need to put this in. I just did the no phone copy last night. That's amazing. That's amazing. So what we're doing, and I'll finish with my quote here. Let me know if I'm going to move forward. Let me know if you need me to go back and give you this slide again. You don't need to rebuild connection overnight. Don't need to rebuild connection overnight. You do it one small moment, one honest word, and one safe breath at a time. How powerful is that? How life-changing is that? Just one single word, one single connection. And that is it for today. So part 2, we're going to PDF cannot open. See, I knew I was going to have problems with that. Okay, hold on one sec. Let me get this. I will put the... Sorry, everybody. I know this is causing delays in what you're doing, but we're almost done. Like I said, we're just talking about what's going to happen tomorrow, or sorry, at the end of the month. Because so we're going to come August 30th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or sorry, Mountain time, not Pacific time. Don't come then. I won't be on. And okay, here we go. Try. What the heck is that? Okay, hold on one sec. Sorry. One more time. Oh, that's because I downloaded it. Ha! Good times. Copy link. I should have been a little bit more prepared with this. That's okay. Whoa. So if you have any comments, while I'm grabbing this, just put a comment in and just let me know if you have any questions about what we're talking about. If you have any other situations that you want to know about, just let me know in the comments and we can answer some. We can have a quick conversation here. And we will do this. There you go. So links in the comments now. It should work better for you there. Don't know why the QR code didn't work. I'll have to make sure that's fixed for the next one so that helps. Now, again, this is awareness, part 1. And for those of you who have been on my events before, I always do a 2-part series with a PDF in the middle, with a workbook, guidebook, whatever you want to call it. First one, we're bringing awareness. We're trying to understand what's going on within whatever. The second part, we go through the workbook. We talk about what happened. Well, I talk about open to comments, things like that. And try that QR code, see if we can register for part 2. And it doesn't open. Mine says can't open file. What the snap? Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to give you a crazy one then. Copy link. So this is the one. Why is this? Okay, here's an absolutely crazy one. See if that works. If it doesn't, well, I don't know why it's not working. Failed to download. Man, guess I should have checked my links a little better. Oh, that works. Perfect. Awesome, Les. I'm glad that works. Try that long link. And that should work. Abigail, if you have a colleague that you are worried about and they don't seem to want to talk, what's the best way to show them that you care? Great question, Abigail. Presence, right? Like you were saying, was it you that was saying? Yeah, like you were saying earlier, the no talk coffee conversation. Robert, great. I'm glad it works too. The no talk conversation. Invite them out for a cup of coffee, just sit with them, right? If you do things enough, they will see that you are a person that really cares about them, and they'll slowly open up to you, right? If you really care about them, just simple a text or a phone call. Hey, I'm just thinking about you, right? I care about you. We have to put ourselves a little bit vulnerable. So it has to kind of go as a tier, right? So if you put yourself just a little bit below them and say, look, I've gone through things and I don't understand exactly what you're going through, but here's a few things that I went through. And having a conversation like that will allow them to go, oh man, they get it, which is why I teach first responders. Like, honestly, to you, my friends, I used to try to coach the world, right? But I don't get what other people are going through. As you know, post-traumatic stress disorder is such a broad spectrum, and people that are suffering with trauma is such a broad spectrum. People with like childhood trauma, spousal abuse, all these different things, I can't help because I don't know what you've been through, right? Obviously, I can do what I can, but when it comes to certain situations within the first responder world, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've been through a lot of stuff, and I can kind of give you direction of what I've done over the years that have helped me move forward. So, Abigail, the best thing to do is, again, just sit with them and let them know that you are there when they're ready to talk. And when they're ready to talk, you'll be the first person to call, because they'll be like, she's been there for me for so long. And yeah, I say just keep being that connection for them, because if they try to isolate too much, it might go down the wrong path. So just always reach out. Just always be a connection. You are not a burden to someone who matters, because they need it. They want it. They just don't know how, because they're in that self-protection mode. And until they release themselves from that self-protection mode through your presence, they're not going to move forward. So I hope that helped, Abigail. I hope that kind of gave you some insight. Does this link work for the next event? If not, I know that most of you are probably on my email list, and I send out an email after this with the replay. And then, yeah, I ran a first responder peer program as I figured it out for myself in retirement. I would like to connect offline. Absolutely. Again, I will do, yeah, that sounds like something we could definitely do. Don't know about weekly, but we can definitely figure something out. What about a person who is distant due to loss and grief? How do you support them? Well, one of the things, again, who's distant due to loss and grief, like they don't talk about emotions. Yes, that's a lot of people, right? We don't want to talk about, and I go into that in the next event, and I will touch a little bit on it. I can't remember what I called it. What did I call it? Ooh. talking to others without sounding weak. That's what I called it on the next event, because that's the biggest stigma. We feel that when we put emotions out there, oh, I can't talk about it. I'm a first responder. I'm a correctional officer. I go in and deal with people that have murdered people and do this. I can't cry, right? That's not true. I'm very emotional. I cry all the time. Well, not all the time, but I do cry. And you have to really kind of allow the person to be distant, but not far enough where they're untouchable. And that's the biggest advice I can give you is give them space, right? Some people, I don't know how long the loss and grief was, or the loss was for them, but everything happens over time. And if you can give them a little bit of space and go, okay, I'm here for you and I love you and care about you, and I'm going to check in on you on a periodic, I don't think that's the right word, but I'm going to check in on you. It happens 2 months ago. Okay. So for those who don't know, I lost my 16-month-old son. It's about 11 years ago now. No, 13 years ago now. But it took me years to reconnect. So I don't know the relationship that they had, but it took me years to actually start getting out of this bubble. So you got to be patient with them. And you have to say, look, I'm here for you. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. And when you understand that and they understand that, they'll come when they're ready. But you have to just keep reaching out and being like, hey, just checking in today. How you doing? Right? I understand you're going through, you've been through something. It's been a few months. How you doing? Right? And if they're like, I'm fine. Okay, great. I'm glad that you're fine today. I'm going to check in with you again. Right? I'm always here if you need me. You're not, we all often, yeah, the key is patience, right? Patience for them, patience for yourself. And we always trying to fix something, right? That's what I said. We're trying to fix it. And we're not there to fix it. We're there to listen. We're there just to hear what they have to say. They will come back when they're ready. But things always take time. You always have to be patient with them, and they have to be patient with you, right? You're learning too, right? I'm sure that you haven't dealt with people that have had loss or grief all the time, especially close friends. So if you begin to learn as you go and show them that you care, that is the biggest thing. Patience and presence, right? Patience and presence. Any other questions? And yeah, I'll get your email down there, Glenn, and we'll figure something out for that. Yes, this is very new to me. I'm having a hard time, and it's part of the journey, right? Think about anything you want to learn. I don't know if you learn languages or you learn to do anything in life. Things take time. You walk a few steps and then you fall, and then you walk a few more steps and then you fall again. And the best thing is to always get up when you fall. And learning about patience, learning about connection, this is just part of that journey. And I can promise you, my friends, that if you keep on this journey, that in 6 months, in 1 year, it is going to really change your life and change their life. Patience and presence. Les, absolutely, right? You can share this with whoever you want. How do I register for part 2? Try that code. If it works, let me know. It should work. It should send you straight to the registration. And yes, like, I'm here to help people, right? I'm not, this isn't, you need to sign up to get my stuff. It's free for all. I want to just help, right? Patience and presence. All right. That is it for me. If there's anything else, let me know. I appreciate you all. I love you all because you're here. You're moving forward with your life. You're doing what you can to either help yourself or to help others. When I logged into this meeting and had the link to sign up for the second part. Yep, perfect. And again, if you go to, how do I want to do this? Yeah, if you've gotten any of my previous ones, I should have a link in there to get on my email list, and I send out emails, and I always send out the emails to my next events. If you want, I can add you to my email list. Just say yes, and I can find your email, and I'll add you to my email list. And I will send you the email to the next event and the replay to this, and also another link to get the workbook. So that is it for me today. Again, I love you. I appreciate you all. I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad you're all working forward. Okay, Maria, I'll make sure that you get it. Let's write your name down. I will do the same way to get into it. Perfect. Well, you all, I think I'm on it already, but yes. Well, you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for spending the last 46 minutes with me. Take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of others. Because remember, you can't fill from an empty cup. Final analogy, I love telling this one. When you're on a plane, situation happens, what do they tell you to do? Put your oxygen mask on first so that you can help others. Self-care is your oxygen mask. So make sure you take care of yourself so that you can be there for others. Again, I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. And Robert, I will add you.